Well, that's where we're heading for. Hello there, dear viewers. You know, that crash kind of reminded me of a few car crashy games, such as Burnout and other car crashing games. But the series I want to look at today is the FlatOut series. Now, Danny, has talked about a couple of FlatOut games on this channel before, but today I want to take a look at all the games. Every single one of them, except for the mobile game.
So what system should I play them on? Well, for the first game, yet another review show did the PS2 version, and Danny's review show did the Xbox version. So I guess I'll do the PC version for this one.
Well, time for the old keyboard and mouse. In a historical first for this channel, I'll be talking about a PC game. Not an emulation of a PC game, an actual official PC game.
The first game originally came out in Europe in late 2004, but was released in North America a few months later in mid-2005. Now, I am so used to console controls, so I don't know how I'm going to handle using the keyboard. Guess we'll see. Yes, we know about the girls that want to be the boys, or whatever they're saying. Now, I'm sure I'm not the only one to feel this way. This game very much feels like a game for rednecks. Like, you could say that about many car-related games, but just look at the atmosphere of this game, even in just the menus.
Consarn it! Crap, I forgot I'm wearing a mask.
Anyway, we get to the gameplay, and the moment of truth will shine through. This game doesn't support regular controllers, at least not unless there's a mod out there for it. So can I play this with a keyboard?
I just don't like using keyboard and mouse controls for most 3D games. I mean, it may depend on the game, but
It's just too many buttons.
so wish me luck.
Huh. It's not too bad, actually. I guess I should have expected this since it is just a car game. It's not like an open world use many buttons to control type of game. But yeah, the keyboard controls feel natural. As you can tell, this is a racing game. Well, this is just one of few modes, so racing is just part of it. The thing that sets this game apart from the others is, that's one of them. Yeah, there really aren't that many games out there that actually have the driver fly out of their vehicle whenever they crash. At least, not at the time this game came out. This game also feels different with the feel of the vehicles. Many other racing games do feel realistic in some ways, but the cars in this one really have some weight to them. The damage to the vehicles are also pretty detailed for a game that came out in 2005. A lot of nice details in this game. In career mode, you can buy and upgrade vehicles to compete in different challenges. Remember, this isn't just a racing game.
It's a way of life.
We also have mini games that really take advantage of flinging your driver out of the car. Bugbear knew how ridiculous the ragdoll effects looked, and they had fun with it. There's also a demolition derby mode, or destruction derby as they call it here. You just ram into other cars until they explode or you explode. I would compare this to other demolition derby games, but I haven't really played that many before. The closest demolition derby things I've played are in the Twisted Metal games. So if I say this is one of the best types of demolition derby games I've played, it's really one of the only demolition derby games I've played, other than the other FlatOut games. Whatever the case is, this is a fun time. And that's all there really is to say about the first FlatOut: racing, demolition derby, and minigames. Not that that's a bad thing, this game is still quite enjoyable. There's just nothing more to it than that, but that's okay, since this is just the first game and they were just dipping their toes in the water.
Just make sure you're wearing socks when you do that. You know, that sounded funnier in my head, but now that I say it out loud...
It's not the best in the series, but FlatOut is a fun game to play by yourself or with friends. It's also usually pretty cheap these days on any platform, so it wouldn't set you back too much. The PC version is probably the best in terms of graphics and performance, but the PS2 and Xbox versions are still good versions of the game. Now let's take a look at the sequel that was released the following year, simply titled FlatOut 2. This game was also released on PS2, Xbox, and, of course, PC in mid-2006. If you want the quick version, this is basically the first FlatOut but with more. The standard modes return, racing, demolition derby, and the minigames. Though this time around, your opponents are actual characters, like with names and faces and such. You don't get to use any of them, you still have to choose male or female, but now there are different male and female characters that you face off against. You still have career mode where you get a vehicle, play different events, and earn money to buy more vehicles and or upgrade parts. One thing that's different about this one is you can actually use more than just cars. There's not a huge variety, but you can use vehicles like trucks now. The game pretty much feels the same as the first game, for better or worse. They might be a little improved here, but overall, pretty much the same. And again, keyboard controls aren't too bad here. In terms of minigames, there's definitely more here. Some minigames make a return here, such as the high jump. But we also have new minigames here, such as bowling and rings of fire. I think I like the selection here more than in the first game, and it's not just because there's more. Demo Derby basically plays the same as the first one, but hey, don't fix what ain't broke. Though they may have improved things a little bit here, like the rest of the game. The best way I can describe this game is FlatOut 1 but better. This game didn't really change the formula all that much, but they did make minor changes and added more to it. So if you like the first game, you'll definitely maybe like this one more. If you were hoping for more improvements, then this one might not be for you. But Ultimate Carnage might be. In late 2007, Bugbear released an enhanced version of FlatOut 2 titled FlatOut Ultimate Carnage for Xbox 360. It later came to PSP as FlatOut Head-On in early-ish 2008, and then Ultimate Carnage later came onto PC in late-ish 2008. Let's see what the PC version is like first. Well, the menu sure is different. One thing I noticed right away is that you can actually use a regular gaming controller to play this game, despite Steam saying you can't.
Oh, finally. Yeah, screw you, keyboard. I'm sorry, I didn't mean that.
I may have downloaded a mod and just forgot. Going into the gameplay, you can tell right away that this looks way better than the original version. Like, FlatOut 2 already looked pretty good for a 6th gen game from 2006, but this looks really nice. All the same modes are here, of course, but they did add a new feature called Carnage Mode. Carnage Mode is basically like a challenge mode. You complete certain challenges by trying to get a high enough score to get at least a bronze trophy. As you complete these challenges, you unlock more to complete. I wouldn't play this version just for this mode alone, but it is nice that you have extra things to do in the game. Otherwise, the game is pretty much the same, with slight changes and some additional things here and there. So this is FlatOut 2 but better, which is FlatOut 1 but better. Depending on your computer, the PC version can be the best way to play this game, but the 360 version is also a great way to play the game. I should know, I have it on 360 as well. As for the PSP version, FlatOut Head-On, it's a decent version of the game. Danny has briefly talked about this game before. Now I'm going to briefly talk about it. It's pretty much Ultimate Carnage on the go. It just has those PSP graphics and that PSP frame rate. This isn't really the ideal way to play this game. But if you really want to play it on the go and you can get past the graphics and frame rate, then this version is still fun to play.
FlatOut 2 is available to play on the Steam Deck, but Ultimate Carnage is not, so the closest thing to Ultimate Carnage on the go is on PSP, at least officially. Though I didn't think about laptops.
Whichever way you want to play it, FlatOut Ultimate Carnage is a great time.
Now, Ultimate Carnage was Bugbear's last FlatOut game they would work on, but the FlatOut series continued. I'm sure the company after that would give it all the love and care it deserved. Right? Right?
In late 2010, we randomly got a Wii version of FlatOut. The only problem is, it's not a Wii version of the original game. It's a completely different game on the Wii. Yet they just call it FlatOut. And Wikipedia has it listed on the page for the first game as a version of the original game.
A little hurts my head sometimes.
but maybe this game is still good. Like, surely it's... Oh no. The menu sure doesn't make it feel like a flat-out game. And why is it kind of blurry too? You know what? Before I criticize it anymore, let me try out the actual gameplay first.
No one could ever say I didn't suffer for my hobby.
What the heck happened to this game? First of all, why does this game look so blurry? I mean, I've seen worse, but this is a game from 2010. I don't care if it's a Wii game, this is ridiculous. Also, the controls are bad, of course, but to be fair, while this game doesn't have an option for GameCube controllers nor Wii Nunchuck controls, it is compatible with the classic controller. I didn't have one, so I had to use the Wiimote controls. I'm sure if I had a classic controller, I would have had a better time, in terms of the controls. But that would not have saved the rest of the game, because this game sucks. The physics are very jank. Not that the previous FlatOut games had perfect physics or anything, but this makes me appreciate those physics even more. This game is also very lacking in content. The back of the case says there's 12 tracks altogether. Well, that's only half true. The thing they don't tell you is half those tracks are just reverse versions of those same 6 tracks. It doesn't help that most of the tracks look samey. This doesn't feel anything like FlatOut. It feels like there's no weight to the vehicles and there's no flippin' driver. This isn't Burnout, it's FlatOut. And I should punch myself for comparing this to Burnout. There's also a lack of minigames, but they actually make the game feel more like FlatOut. Only one is unlocked from the start, and of course it's not good. You have to launch your driver to the target, but they place the darn thing way too far away. It looks like there's 8 minigames altogether, but with the way this game was about racetracks, it could just be 2 versions of 4 minigames. I didn't bother to try and unlock them to find out. The other FlatOut type mode in this game is the Demolition Derby mode, or Battle Arena as they call it in this game. And there's just one arena. Just one. If there's more, I couldn't tell, because usually if there's more to unlock, you'd see the other options chained up until you unlock them. But here you don't see that, so that's why I assume there's just one. This is probably the best mode in the game, but it's still not good. Again, if I had a classic controller, it probably would have felt better to play, but it wouldn't have saved this game. The only mode this game has that's unique to this game is Car Basher, where you, as the name implies, bash a car with a weapon of your choice. Bash the car to get points until the timer runs out. Hit the parts that turn green for extra points. This mode is actually funny to play, for a few minutes, then it quickly loses its charm. So in case you haven't been able to tell yet, I don't like this game.
I really tried to give this game a chance. I mean, people online often give this game a lot of crap, and I wanted to see exactly how bad it was, because, I mean, people often give crap to a lot of stuff that doesn't really deserve it most of the time. This game, however, it definitely deserves all the harsh criticism and negative reviews.
This is definitely one of the worst Wii games I've played. It's not the worst game I've ever played, but this is up there. Or down there, depending on... Anyway.
Well, that's gotta be the worst of it, right? It can only go up from here. Right?
Ah, crap. In late December of 2011, the same company that made the Wii game, Team 6, released FlatOut 3 Chaos and Destruction, exclusively for PC. So I'm sure that's a good sign. This game is often considered one of the worst games of all time, but like I said about people of the internet, they get a little too harsh with their criticisms.
So maybe it's not that bad. Well, they were correct about the Wii game, so who knows. Why don't we take a look and find out?
But before we start, I should mention something. For whatever reason, I could not capture footage of this game. I tried 3 times, and while the 3rd time I actually got it, it didn't turn out very well. So I gave up and got Casual Racer Red's video on YouTube, so the footage you'll be seeing belongs to them. I'll leave a link to the full video in the description. It's the least I could do for borrowing the footage. Wait, this is just the same menu music from the Wii game. They really couldn't come up with a different theme for this one? But in stark contrast to the Wii game's lack of modes, this game has a lot of modes. You have the standard ones like racing, demolition derby, and the mini games, but you also have new modes like monster trucks and FlatOut and quite a bit more. Of course, I'll be talking about the standard racing mode first, as I have been, and oh boy did the physics carry over from the Wii game. No motion controls, of course, so the controls are mostly fine, but it doesn't take long to see that this game is pretty broken. Seems like you can kind of slowly run into a tree and your car gets totaled. Obviously it's a bit different in the arena battles, which thankfully has more levels. But this is where the AI vehicles really show how broken they are. There's a lot of times where they'll just run right into you and it's hard to escape it. And I sure wish my footage could have saved properly, because there were a couple of times where my car went right through the floor and fell forever. Speed is basically race mode with these types of cars. They're kind of stiff to control. Monster Truck has a few different challenges in it. It's a nice change of pace, but still a bit buggy. Of course, you also have the mini-games, which, well, they're good ideas, just not the best execution. Though they don't feel impossible to do like in the Wii game. There's also Night Shift, where you race one opponent at night with a bad storm. There are many modes here that have to do with racing. FlatOut has you basically playing Carmageddon by running over zombies for points. There's also challenge mode, but that's just completing certain challenges you can already do in other modes. What's also different about this game is instead of choosing male or female, you now have many different characters to choose from. Most involve puns or parodies of some kind, but it is kinda cool that there are different characters you can play as. I just wish they were featured in a better game. Okay, so here's the thing though. This game is quite bad, but it's in a way that's fun. Yes, this is a so bad it's good type of game. Despite how broken and buggy the game is, I still had fun playing it because of how bad it is.
So it's kind of like the Sonic 06 of the FlatOut series, only this one is actually pretty bad.
It is very disappointing that they had so many cool ideas but put them into this game. I will admit, a lot of these modes don't actually feel like FlatOut. They feel like modes from different car games crammed into this game here, but they are still fun in a way. As bad as it is, I just can't agree that it's one of the worst games of all time. To me, worst of all time includes games that just aren't fun to me at all, like so bad, they're just bad. I still have fun with this game, even if it's not for the reasons the developers wanted it to be. The Wii game is what I'd consider one of the worst, as it's not only broken, it's also boring. So yeah, FlatOut 3 Chaos and Destruction is bad, but not that bad. I'll just say it's a terrible FlatOut game, but a fun game on its own. Though the game does crash time to time, so you might want to watch out for that. I don't know how I forgot to mention that before. The next game is the 2013 iOS/Android game, FlatOut Stuntman, which, now that I think about it, I might have played it once or twice before. But I won't be talking about it much here. It was just a FlatOut game with touchscreen controls and mobile game features.
After that, there was really nothing else. Fans probably thought the series was dead. That is until FlatOut 4 was announced.
Yeah, it was interesting. In early 2017, not too long after Danny uploaded his first FlatOut video for yet another review show, FlatOut 4 Total Insanity was announced. It was released just a couple of months later for PS4 and Xbox One. But of course we'll be looking at the PC version today, which came out less than a month after that. This was the first non-mobile FlatOut game in around 6 years, and it's the first console FlatOut game since the Wii game in 2010. Basically, it was nice to have FlatOut back. This game was made by Kyloton. They couldn't possibly screw up as bad as Team 6 did, so it can only go up from here. No sarcasm, I mean it this time. Alright, better music so far. How about the game? Oh, finally. We finally have a good FlatOut game again. This actually feels like FlatOut. The vehicles have weight to them again, and the physics in general just feel right. The graphics are nice as well, they just don't look as nice here due to me lowering the settings a bit. Wasn't sure how it was going to turn out for the video, so I went the safe route. All the standard modes are here, of course, racing, demolition derby, and the minigames. They didn't bring any of 3's modes here, but it's all good. They do have newer modes like Beat the Bomb and Carnage. And most of the minigames are brand new, such as Pull and Finish Pins. This is pretty good for a FlatOut game. But how does it compare to the older games? Well, in some ways, I say it's an improvement. In others, it just doesn't quite hit the same. That could just be my nostalgia talking, so who knows for sure. But I do still find this to be a fun game to play, no matter what system you play it on. I still think Ultimate Carnage is the best one, but honestly 4 is a close second. So I would recommend 4 if the price is right. And that's it for the FlatOut games as of early March 2024. While FlatOut 4 was a good game, it obviously didn't have as big of an impact as the first 2 games. So there hasn't been a new game since 2017.
It sucks, but in all fairness, what else could they do with the series?
Well, I think they could do a few things differently, like they could add a story mode of some kind. It wouldn't have to be a serious story, but it would add something. They could bring back multiple characters and have their own stories like in an arcade mode like in fighting games or Twisted Metal. But to avoid feeling samey, they should just release maybe 1 or 2 new games per console generation. Give us enough content in the game to hold us over until the next one. Unfortunately, it has been nearly 7 years as of this video since the last game, and there's been no hint at a new one. Plus, we now have Wreckfest, which is a spiritual successor to the FlatOut series. It was created by Bugbear, so that explains it. It doesn't have the mini-games like in FlatOut, but it does have racing and demolition derby. But hopefully we'll see FlatOut come back someday. Though if it doesn't, at least they went out on a decent game and not FlatOut 3.
The FlatOut series may be seemingly dead, but it will live on forever in the hearts of the fans. It had a good run. For the first few years. But now that I've talked about the series, I'd like to thank you all for watching this video, and I hope you have a good day or night. You know, I should probably go check on that car crash. Wow, that fire spread. I probably should have checked on that before I made this video.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more videos in the future. Leave a comment and let me know what you think of what was talked about today. Until next time, thank you for watching and have a good day or night.